we have two different ways to model multiplication. We could look at it as an area, or we could look at it as groups of. And I'm going to go for the groups of with pattern blocks. So with pattern blocks, I want to be able to demonstrate what is 1/3 groups of 3/4. Let's grab some pattern blocks and give it a try. The Math Learning Center .org has some great toys. And again, warning, typically if I'm working with kids, I'm not going to use a computer. I'm going to get the physical toys to play with. Let's see, where are they here? Pattern shapes. And I want the web app. So if you're playing along, chat, video description. So let's see, to do that, again, let me type my question, zoom out also. 1/3, 3/4 is my question. All right, so what is 1/3 groups of 3/4? So I can't find 1/3 of something till I know what it is. So to do this, I got to find 3/4 first. Now, we could do that by, say, using squares to make a grid, but I'm going to use it, let's trash that one. I'm going to use it using hexagons. And one way using hexagons is to make two of them a whole. And then if I shade those in, that two hole with the trapezoids here. So now I have 1, 2, 3/4 of this is red. Right, so this is my 3/4. So let's just make a note of that. Whoa, what happened? So now that I know what 3/4 looks like, I can find 1/3 of it. So I'm just going to redraw that over here. Fun. That order of operations is wrong here. Rotate. Go back. Okay. Ah, that's better. All right, so there's my 3/4. Now, if I just focus, so again, what is 1/3 groups of 3/4? Now I have 3/4. What's 1/3 of that? Well, any one of these, like that one or that one, is going to be 1/3 of that 3/4. So I'm just going to shade that a different color. Let's go for light blue today. So now, just going to have a little text there. Blue is 1/3 of 3/4. Now, I'm not quite done because, again, I haven't fully answered the question. I've identified what 1/3 is, but it's got to be part of a whole. So back here, I have my whole. 2 hexagons was a whole. That blue piece I can see is 1/4 of the whole. So that would be my final answer. So this tells me that 1/3 times 3/4 is 1/4. And that's the idea of playing with groups of. And I don't have to use pattern blocks. I could sketch this out and get a similar idea. So I'm going to make a sketch of the same idea. Yeah, question is, what is 1/3 of a group of 3/4? So I'm going to show the 3/4 first, and I'm going to do that using the square cake idea. So I'm going to cut it in half. Halves and halves. And here's my quarters. And then I want to shade part of this. So this is my 3/4. Couple of ways to proceed here. One way, since I happen to have 3 pieces here, right? 1, 2, 3 pieces, any one of them is 1/3 of the 3/4, which also happens to be 1/4 of the whole. So that's kind of similar to the way I did with pattern blocks. The other way to think about it is I cut 4ths that way. What if I cut 1/3 the other way? So I think 1/3 would be about, let's use a different color than red on red. I think this is about 1/3 there, and that's about 1/3 there. And I want 1/3 of this 3/4 here, which is just this chunk right here. What part of the whole is that? Well, I have 1, 2, 3 pieces there. Out of this grid is 3 by 4, which is 12. So one answer would be it's 3/12 of the whole. Which we can regroup. We know 3 goes into 12. And if I kind of think about that over here too, there's one group of 3, there's another group of 3, there's another group of 3, there's another group of 3. I have 1 out of 4 of those groups of 3, so I can also say it's 1/4 of the whole. So that shows one way to get an answer. This also is like the area model right here. That area is 3/12 of the whole. Also related to the groups of method. And we can reduce it by looking for common groups.